Who were you before the world hurt you? This is a question that always stops me right in my tracks whenever it happens to come up. And it is a question that comes up in the most random places, but it never fails to come back up. I used to struggle a lot to answer this question because I had forgotten who I was. That part of me, that inner child, so to speak, felt foreign. It felt like a different person, like it wasn't even me. And sometimes even when I thought back to my childhood, I would question if some of the memories were even mine. And then it really tripped me up when doing the peeling backs of the layers, when I started uncovering memories that were there, but it actually didn't feel like I was there. Like it was remembering an oppressed memory. Well, that's a whole other can of worms to open up. Anyways, so who were you before the world hurt you? Today, I can actually answer that question honestly, and it took time. But there's three things that really, really left a pit in my gut when I was able to actually put my finger down on it. And the first one is I would let myself experience joy for longer than 5 minutes. Today, I can experience joy for longer than 5 minutes, but I have to be cognizant of it. Back then, you didn't have to worry. You just felt what you felt. You did what you wanted to do. You belly laughed. I belly laughed. Who are we kidding? I'm talking about me right now. I belly laughed. I cried. I was curious. I did whatever came to mind. And through the programming of life, I would second guess. I would do things with the wonder what other people or how other people are going to receive me, or I would do things in a way to try and control how people receive me. I would just always be living up here. I would never be in my life. I was always here trying to plan the next move to keep myself safe from feeling vulnerable. It was exhausting. Now, I can experience joy. But it takes work. It's not an everyday, it's an ongoing process to be able to retrain my mind to reallow myself to experience joy. And it's when we have lived a lifetime of experiences looking for information to support this narrative this story we're telling ourselves that we're not allowed to experience this, it takes time to unwind. Does for all of us. We're human. Got to give ourselves grace. Now, the other thing, the funny thing with this one is I haven't even talked to my girlfriend about this yet, but I realized, and this was a fresh realization, is before the world hurt me, I used to dance. I used to be in flow. I don't remember the last time that felt comfortable to dance. Even school dances as a kid didn't feel comfortable to dance, but I remember being a kid in my room dancing. I actually remember the first time I felt self-conscious dancing, and I hope she never sees this video, but I was at my grandmother's and I was listening to, I'm pretty sure it was Eiffel 65 on a stereo, and I was dancing, and she was in her bedroom on the phone. And I remember looking over and she was laughing while she was closing her door. And I felt so embarrassed because I was certain she was laughing at my dancing. And I know that wasn't her intention. She might not even have been laughing at me, which is why I don't ever want her to see this, because I wouldn't want her to break her little heart. But I used to dance, and it feels weird as a man saying that just because of the experiences that I've gone through. But then at the same time, I also wonder, why does that feel weird? Obviously, I have some more work to do there to be able to flow, to be able to dance, which leads us to the third thing, is there was a time before the world hurt me where I lived completely free of judgment of others. But that time was very short. And I only have such a small handful of memories that was like that because I became self-conscious at a very young age. Um, I actually remember one of the first comments that was made to me that made me self-conscious. It was one of my old childhood friends, my mom's best friend at the time, and another person. I hope she never watches this video either. My Auntie Shell, her late husband, may he rest in peace. He was a very good man, and I know that he was kidding at the time, but I was a sensitive kid, and he made a comment about me liking macaroni salad, and because he said that it gave people big boobies. Now, obviously, thinking back as an adult, like, it's cute, it was funny, but I was mortified. I had one of my grandmother's friends at church make a comment a few days prior that I was a little chunkier. So a few days later, hearing my friend's dad make this comment that one of my favorite foods gave me boobies. Well, I'm a boy, I'm not supposed to have boobies, so obviously that didn't fit very well up here. And it's funny having the new awareness just to look back and be like, okay, that one experience framed the rest of my life for a lot of things, even if it was innocent. And this is why going back and reframing our relationship with these triggers and with these memories are so important, because we go through these experiences with the awareness and understanding of where we are at that time. We make the choices that we feel is best, or the decisions that we feel is best, with the knowledge that we have at that time. So as we grow and as we learn, we need to be able to give ourselves grace to know that we can look back and be like, hey, that experience, that one was cool. I liked that experience. Or, hey, that experience, didn't like much of that. I don't want that experience again. For us to sit in our head, or to live in our head and be that bully that lives rent-free up here, we're just robbing ourselves of this experience. Life is short, and I know that sometimes it doesn't feel like it is, because we're so distracted by deadlines, and we're so distracted by the next thing we have going on, and the next flagpole, and what we're doing for our vacation, or if there's a problem in the relationship that we're trying to figure out with communication or with kids, or there's a fight with your business partner, or you think your business partner is stealing from you, like, whatever the problems of the world are. These are all just things that myself or my clients have randomly go through. I was just picking. We have a story that we tell ourselves. And through the year, that story has changed and molded into what it is today. The powerful thing is we have the pen. We are aware. We can go back and we can change that story for ourselves. When I go back and I am now cognizant that I used to let myself experience joy as a child, I would allow myself to dance, and that I lived free from the judgment of others. And back then, when I was 5 years old, life was more fulfilling. Well, I have two choices. I can either do the same thing and hope for a different outcome and quite literally adopt the label of insane, or I could go back and ask myself, what did I do more of as a child that actually helped elicit these outcomes? If I want to experience joy, why don't I go play? If I want to dance, why don't I put on music and go and dance with the woman I love in the safest space that I could be? If I want to live free from the worry of judgment of others, then I have to be mindful to also not judge and just focus on spreading love, because at the end of the day, I am cognizantly aware that people's hurts are projected onto others. So why am I making it about me? Who are you before the world hurts you? I want to leave you with that question. If nothing else, just sit and think. Who were you? Because that feeling that you get in the gut, that spark, that little like reach out for help, it's tired. It's tired of calling out. It wants to be heard. It really does. And I assure you, when you actually allow yourself to feel and you actually allow yourself to heal, life does change and it gets so damn beautiful. So I invite you, get out of your head and get into your life, because the sooner you do that, the sooner you're going to start living the life fulfilled. I appreciate you. Much love. Please like, please share, please subscribe. It helps get this message out there, because my goal here is just to help people live the life that they actually want to live. For people to be able to live day to day without this crippling feeling of worry that is always holding them back. Have the best rest of your day.